Alright guys, let's have a look at the Aussie 200, the ASX. As always, we'll start on the weekly, zoom out as far as we can, have a look at the long-term trends and then zoom back in. Okay, so what can we see here? Okay, so first of all there's a long-term trend line. If we just draw a bottom here, oops, just get rid of that. Trend line. Okay. So yeah, okay, long-term trend somewhere around this zone is pretty good. So it looks like the crash we had last March was actually a decent buy. Is this the GFC? Yep. So we crashed off the GFC against this trend line. So that's obviously pretty good level. Was 2000. Looks like Australia wasn't affected too much in the dot-com bubble. Wasn't that big of a deal. Here you can see the 1990s recession, if you will. Was it 87 here? Okay, so a long-term trend says that a good buy would be down here, and a solid correction would take you down here. So let's have a zoom in and see what we get. In fact, let's keep it on the weekly for a bit. So straight away we can see there's clearly a peak here, which in fact we're at it now. In fact we just rolled over from it. Let's have a look. Horizontal. Right, so the very top of the GFC is at 6849 and it crashed off from there. And if you look here, in late 2019 we hit it, rejected off, but we found support and managed to break through, retested, but a second we've gone off to go, that's triggered the March crash and we've come back down. So this is it's clearly a key level. Potentially what we could be looking at is if there's more buyers we've got in, we've got the momentum this time round to actually get through and carry on. So that is a possible scenario. However, you can see initially on the weekly we've started to reject it. Again, we'll zoom in a bit more. So there's a couple of red candles here. The weekly's just turned green. There's been a lot of volatility and volume up and down. Let's have a look in the daily. Give us a bit more information. Right, so the daily here, we've tested the 50-day moving average. In fact, I'll just zoom in so you can see a bit better. We've tested the 50-day moving average, got underneath it, but we did come back, we rallied, but we've rejected this key level again, come back up, down to up to the 50, but again we failed it, started to go back up. The price that we're at now is a critical level. If we can hold this zone, in fact, we could probably go down to the 100-day. I think a sensible bet would be, I think we'll go down to the 100-day moving average, maybe just under, test somewhere down here. And then from there, if we can get back, then yeah, there's a possibility of going up to new highs. Or alternatively, this could be a big rollover. You've got to look at the monetary policy as well. With doubling up on the QE, particularly with, the Aussie are starting buying the 10-year. That's what the Fed did in September 2019, and that obviously caused the March crash. Because the problem is these bonds and treasury yields, they're needed by banks and institutions as collateral. So when the Fed, or the RBA in this case, starts taking these bonds out of circulation, all of a sudden these banks don't have collateral anymore, and it can force liquidation issues where they have to force the sale of assets to raise capital, basically, which is exactly what this is here. This is everybody's holding stocks. It's basically just had to liquidate their assets and plummet. And in the meantime, the CTAs or the quant computers have jumped in as well. From a day, let's have a look from a day trading perspective. We'll jump down to the 1 hour. See what that's got to offer. Right. Zoom in a bit more. Okay, so we're under the moving averages. We're under the 200 hour. There's potentially a bit of a head and shoulders. The move down. It could go into move lower. That would take us down to here, which is where I know the 100-day moving average is. So it wouldn't be such a bad thing. Let's have a look. In fact, let's draw some support levels and see what we've got here. So this is clearly a support resistance zone. I've tested it here, here, came back. It was support here, broke straight through. Bit of resistance, support. So this level is clearly quite clear. And then the level we're at now is quite clear as well. So if we go just here, so we're just above it. Yeah, resistance here, support, resistance. This is also moving average as well, but yeah, resistance, support, resistance, support. Yeah, clearly, an important level of support here, just above, and we got back to this zone. Where are we? Yes, yeah, so 650. It's halfway through 100, so it's likely that it would be. It's difficult to say. I think we're probably going to consolidate somewhere around here for a little bit and then try and move up. But then I'll be looking for a rejection. It could be that this is turning into a bit of a trend. It's a bit early days, but potentially that could be turning into a bit of a... So we've got this megaphone patterns actually forming on some of the other stocks as well. So if we sort of break down under this, I think that's likely that we're going to go down to here.